Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this disaster. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so I went ahead and picked up a little something online, and actually got a couple of things coming, so I'm not sure exactly which one this is. I did go ahead and pull off the label, not to dox myself, but as you can see, this thing is in rough shape. So I'm not sure exactly which one this is, but I know it's Warhammer models, so whatever's inside here is probably ruined. And like always, if you have a package showing up in rough shape, you got to make sure to document that, as you do want to provide some pictures to the seller. Now, stuff like this can always happen. You never know when there's going to be an issue. Obviously, the post office or whoever you're shipping through can have some unexpected damages or issues with your package. So best case scenario, you are covered by insurance, but regardless of anything, you definitely want to be like covered with some kind of buyer protection or something like that. Whether it's from like PayPal or whether you're going directly through eBay or whatever the situation. And in this case, I'm lucky because I am actually covered. So regardless of what we're about to uncover here, everything should work out eventually in the end. Probably just going to be some kind of waiting period before I get a refund. All right, so now I know exactly what it is. It is a Sylvaneth Start Collecting box. So I did get this for a pretty good deal, but obviously the price was not low enough for it to arrive in this condition. Now, of course, I'm not blaming the seller. This item specifically, the box was already a little bit damaged, but in the pictures and description and everything, obviously the models were supposed to be fine, and in the picture it did not look anything like this. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt, assume that this happened along the way. I would imagine there's some kind of protocol though, depending on like what shipper it is, that they would like notify you that the box is in really rough shape or like knock on your door or something like that. With this one, they definitely just like threw it and ran, which, you know, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I would be absolutely embarrassed to deliver that box to somebody. All right, so we got the pictures documented and everything like that, and we'll go ahead and just pull everything out here and take a look at the actual sprues, the actual condition of this kit. Being that it is Sylvaneth and there are a lot of delicate parts, I already know what we're looking at here. This is probably all ruined. Hopefully we can salvage something out of it, but it does not look good here. So we can see the sprues are permanently ruined or damaged, whatever. So it is what it is. We'll go ahead and take a look at the individual sprues here. I'm going to try to just keep all the bits together. Not sure exactly how I'm going to handle this. Maybe I'll just see what the condition is, try to salvage whatever bits I can. It's probably just going to go into like a bits box somewhere for some conversions or something like that. I've always wanted to convert like one of the regular dragon models from Sigmar into a like forest or like wood elf kind of like dragon. So maybe I can use all the bits from like the dryads and from the treemen to essentially turn a dragon into a like wood tree, like leafy dragon. Obviously, this is not the ideal situation, but like anything, we got to make the best of it. So a lot of this stuff is definitely ruined and there's no salvaging it. Obviously, like the base. The actual like sprues and models, there is a ton of broken stuff on here. I did go through this like after the video and essentially like clip everything off the sprues, gather up all the bits, and I would say probably about like 25% of the stuff is actually like broken. It's not just like bent or, you know, the sprues themselves, but the actual bits are like damaged or destroyed. At this point in time, I pretty much know that this is just leftover like potential bits, conversions, etc. It did look like the character is maybe like salvageable, but the actual tree man and all of the dryads are in pretty rough shape. Now, some of the broken bits for the dryads, and you do get like extra pieces for them, I think I'd be able to like potentially salvage them. Some were like messed up on their legs, but I think you pretty much like make something happen with all this stuff. But obviously any hope of just building this up and having essentially like a built start collecting box, potentially painting it, is pretty much crushed at this time. This box is completely ruined. Everything inside is pretty much shot. But to tell you the truth, I'm really not that bummed about it just because I know that I'm covered. So for me, whenever I'm buying stuff online, I always buy from like reputable sellers, people with like good feedback or that I've used before. I always try to get insurance on stuff if it's high dollar to make sure that if something like this does happen, that I'm going to be protected. Or if you pay with a credit card or something like PayPal that has buyer protection, you know that you are at least covered to some degree. Typically when something like this happens, it's very, very rare. This is like the outlier situation. And to me, it's pretty clear that this was all damaged like during transit. I don't think that this was like a scam or there was any like ill intent from the seller. I think they were like selling this off at a pretty good deal just to get rid of it. But the fact of the matter is, this is pretty much worst case scenario for an online purchase. So if worst case scenario is I get a box, it's all busted up and essentially like ruined, but I get my money back, it's really not that bad. So I try to just always put myself in a situation where I'm going to be covered. And now I've been on the other side of this as well. I've shipped out packages before that just completely went missing and then was forced to like refund the buyer, only to have those packages show up later and be delivered, never to get back the money for the item or anything like that. So it definitely works both ways. And typically, in my experience, what I've found is that these situations tend to favor the buyer. Because whether you're buying through like an online retailer like Amazon or eBay or something like that, whether you're using PayPal or your credit card, basically they're always going to take the side of the buyer and give you that buyer protection because they want you to keep being a buyer. They know that there is like limited places you can go to sell products or sell off like whatever you have. So they figure, you know, essentially, as long as we cover the buyer, seller's not going to go anywhere. If they got stuff to sell, they'll be back. But the buyers, if we lose them, they might never come back to our service. So it is what it is. We'll play it by ear. I'm going to go through and clip everything off the screws, throw it in a couple of bags, and just kind of forget about this until one day it's relevant. So let me know a disaster story that you guys have down below. If you had a situation like this happen, did you purchase something online and it showed up in rough shape like this? Were you able to get a refund? Did something go missing altogether? I've had a couple of nightmare stories as a buyer and a couple as a seller as well. But the most important thing is to cover your bases ahead of time and make sure that you do everything you can so that you don't end up in a situation where you do get screwed. And also it's important to stay positive. Stuff like this does happen, but it's very few and far between. The majority of online purchases I've made come in exactly the condition that they're supposed to come in and almost always end up getting a really good deal on them. So that's it for today. Just a quick one. Wanted to share this experience with you. I wasn't sure exactly what we were going to get opening that up, but I figured I had to document it anyway, so I might as well share it with you guys. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. If you want to pick up some Warhammer that's not in this condition, check them out. Link in the description to save 15%. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm a little bummed out, but when it's all said and done, everything got made right. So I'm out of here. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video.